Yo, good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you are tuning into this broadcast. This is Ishues, Coach Ish, whatever you want to call me. Back with another video. Let's talk some boxing. Alright, so I got a nice little road trip. So while I'm on this road, man, I'm gonna talk my shit. So I'm gonna make a couple videos on this trip. So we're gonna start off with Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. First of all, I like this fight. I like this fight stylistically. I don't necessarily like the fight from the standpoint of if I'm invested in Frank Martin's career, I wouldn't want this fight. Tank said something in one of the meetings. He said, you should have waited. It was in the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. It's like, you should have waited. And I kind of agree with that. Like, I don't think Frank Martin has anything necessary to beat Tank. Let me break that down. So my prediction, I'm going to start the video off with my prediction, which is I think it's going to be competitive. I think Frank Martin is going to make a good showing of himself. But then after a while, maybe after the second or third round, he's going to start showing his lack of experience. And when I look at Frank Martin's Marinez fight, you can see the inexperience coming out. And that's just from the simple fact that, number one, Frank Martin only got, 16 fights? And two, whatever it is less than 20. I'm not sure. I think it's 16. I gotta look it up to be 100%. But I think it's 16 fights. Number two, he just started boxing at 18. Now, I think he's very good for somebody who just started boxing at 18. I think he's very good. But the thing about boxing is, more than almost any other sport, I believe, more than almost any other sport, experience is very important. Sometimes experience is what'll win you the fight. So you got Frank Martin, who came late to the sport. He's 27. He started boxing at 18, so he only got 11 years worth of boxing experience under his belt. Tank, on the other hand, is, I don't know, what is Tank? 20, whatever Tank is, 20, around the same age. I can't remember what he is, so let's just say around the same age, 28. He started boxing at 7. So Tank got like 20 years worth of experience. That's a huge difference. I mean, that's all things equal. All things equal, that is a bigger advantage than weight. For real. All things equal, right? Two fighters, both of them relatively around the same age. In fact, you have a 135 pounder who has 20 years worth of experience. He has an advantage over, let's say, a 145 or 147, you know what I'm saying, 150 pound fighter who only has 10 years worth of experience. In a lot of cases, you know what I'm saying? So, the amount of experience, the amount of rounds that you put in is important. You know what I mean? It's important. It's just as, if not more important than weight. For real. You know what I mean? Even though it don't matter when it comes to weight classes, as long as they're in the same weight class or whatever. But when the experience is not there, then certain factors come into play, like athleticism and talent and all that. Is Frank Martin more talented than Tank? Hell no. Is Frank Martin is stronger than Tank? No. You know what I'm saying? Is Frank Martin faster than Tank? No. No. Is he more athletic than Tank? No. No. All of those questions, no. He may be slightly bigger, but his slightly bigger is not big enough. You know what I'm saying? Is he more skilled than Tank? Talents and skills is two different things. Skills is what you acquire. Talent is what you're born with. Skills is what you acquire. Talent is what you're born with. And if you have the right teacher, you know what I'm saying, your teacher can turn your talent into a skill. Right? So, is he more talented than Tank? No. He's not. You know what I'm saying? Does he have is he smarter than Tank? Does he have a bigger ring IQ? Is he some sort of boxing wizard genius that we've seen? You know, like how Lomachenko was, 13 fights in his run. 13 fights into his run. He was already a 3-division champion though. But like just this wizard, unheard of boxing IQ to the point where people filming your training methods and trying to figure out, you know what I mean, what makes you so brilliant as a tactician. Do we see that in Frank Martin? No, not at all. Not even close. In fact, in that Marinez fight, he was getting touched up. He was getting touched up, interestingly, by a fighter who was kind of fighting out of his element. Even though he's a longer fighter and Tank is a shorter fighter, but regardless, if Marinez can find ways to hit Frank Martin, and it wasn't even like he was finding ways. Like Frank Martin do a lot of committing. He do a lot of lunging in, coming in. You could catch Frank Martin coming in. You know what I'm saying? And that's Tank's favorite thing to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got that. Going back to the experience thing, not just experience as far as rounds that he's put in. Been fighting, been boxing since he was 8. You know, the rounds he put in the gym, the rounds he put in fights and the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? And then not just that, Tank has been on top of the boxing game for a long time now. So just that experience of being underneath them lights, the brightest of lights, and you in that ring and you can hear and see everything that's going on around you. You're not just honed in on the fight. When you that dialed up as a fighter and you in that moment and you in the ring under them lights, you can hear everything. You can hear your coach, you can hear the people in the front row, in the first couple rows, you can hear what they saying, what they yelling, you can see what's going on with you, like, because you dialed all the way up. You dial your awareness is heightened all the way up. So under that pressure, that's how, like, you see them clips of like Tank, like even Tank, like there's a couple clips of Tank talking to people in the audience right before he slip a punch and hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? Or Floyd Mayweather talking to people in the audience while he's fighting. You know what I'm saying? So Frank Martin has never been on this stage before. He's never been on the stage. You know what I mean? That by itself is going to be a shock. It's going to be, that is enough right there. Enough. Like, even if Frank Martin and Tank, all other things were equal, experience, time in, you know, skill level, they both equally as dangerous. But one has been underneath them lights a lot, and the other one is just coming underneath them lights. That's enough of an experience to unnerve you just enough for a fighter like Tank, who only, as we have always seen, he's only need a small window of opportunity to finish you with one punch. He only needs a small window of opportunity. It's small. His last few fights, Rolly, and from Rolly to Garcia, you know what I'm saying? Both Garcias. It was a small window of opportunity that opened up, and Tank, didn't even look like he hit him hard. Just, He's precise, and he knows how to generate power in short distances. He's real good at it. And that's not the fighter to be unnerved for anything. And Frank Martin right now is clearly unnerved. He's clearly unnerved. He honestly would have been better off not even engaging with Tank. Like, don't even engage with him. Like, that's how you beat somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tank now is in bully mode. You know what I'm saying? That's how the bullies do. You know what I mean? The bully, they just antagonize you. They just, you know what I mean, keep violating your distance and running up on you and going back and playing little games, and you know what I'm saying? That's some street shit. What Tank is doing. For people who speak that language, that's what he's doing. A lot of people don't see it, but that's what he's doing. That's some jailhouse shit he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Some street shit. You know what I mean? Nigga keep just testing you and trying you and violating your distance and saying certain things and running up on you real fast and then walking back over to, you know what I'm saying? All that little shit Tank was doing. He's sizing him up. He's sizing him up, and he's exposing the fact that you really ain't about what you be talking about. You know what I mean? And I get what he's saying. Like, he's saying a bunch of shit like what Tank is saying basically to Frank Martin, like, you not really like that. You be running around here acting like you like that, but you not really like that. You're not really a street dude like that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think it was $1 Million Worth of Game podcast where he said, you like to party. He kept saying, you like to party. Frank was like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, you fell for the trap. Frank fell for the trap when he said, what's wrong with that? Nah, he said, you gotta remember, Tank comes from Mayweather's gym. So Tank know what it is. Nah, you like to party. He said, what'd he say? He said, basically what he said was like, you ain't good enough or been doing this long enough to afford being able to go out and party. You should be in the gym more. And he right. Like, he 100% right. He 100% right. He's 100% right. 100%. 100%. You know what I'm saying? You had a late start. So, you know, I see it. And then when he did it and Frank flinched and turned him back around, like, he flinched. That's what happened. I saw it. We all saw it. You unnerved. He's unnerved already. And the lights didn't even hit. You know what I'm saying? The lights didn't even hit. And he said it himself, but he said it in a different context to try to make himself sound good. It was like, yo, none of this has really hit me yet. It ain't gonna hit me till I get the win. He's right. It hasn't hit him yet. And he's wrong about when it's gonna hit him. It's gonna hit him when he walked through that threshold and the crowd erupt. He's going to that ring. That's when it's gonna hit. That long walk to the ring. That's when it's gonna hit. Oh shit. But Tank thriving. Tank out of him and Canelo, out of all active fighters, him and Canelo Alvarez are most at home underneath them damn lights. Tank performs best when the lights are brightest. And another thing that I see about Tank has matured. He's now in his prime now. So if Frank Martin does beat Tank, which that's a tall order, if he does beat Tank, he's beating the best Tank that's ever. That's why Calvin kept saying, Coach Calvin kept saying, I want you to push his buttons. I want to see greatness from him. We haven't seen it. I know, he's saying as a coach, I know what that feels like. I know we haven't, no one has pushed him to bring out what I know is inside of him. And for me, like, I've always been kind of harsh and critical on Tank. Tank won me over in the Ryan fight, even though Ryan kind of made a dumbass decision. Ryan took a gamble. Ryan took a gamble because everybody always talk about how Tank starts slow. And honestly, it was stupid to even, because if you really watch Tank fight, he don't really start slow. He start the way you're supposed to start. He don't really start slow. He start the way you're supposed to start. It's a boxing match really is a marathon. You prepare for a marathon. If it turns into a sprint, then that's cool. You can win it off a sprint, cool. But you prepare for a marathon. So you want to spend as much time in the beginning of the fight processing information. That's what the first couple rounds are. And by Tank doing that, that disproves what a lot of people think about him, which is that he's just a puncher. He's not a puncher, he's a boxer. Because every boxer that you ever think about, Andre Ward, Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, Lomachenko, etc., 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 people that are just, their names are synonymous with being brilliant tacticians and boxers, they all start off slow. Even Terrence Crawford, they all start off slow. They all start off slow, but they're not starting off slow. They're starting off the way you're supposed to start off. You're supposed to start off gathering information. Then after you gather information, boxing is a thinking man's sport. People keep forgetting that. They say, yo, you're starting off slow. No, he's not starting off slow. He's starting off the way you're supposed to start off. It's like a NASCAR race. You know what I'm saying? It's similar, it's not the same, but yeah, it kind of is. I'm not that familiar with it. I'm a fan of it because I'm a driving fan. I love driving. I've always have, ever since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I've been making the drive from Georgia to New Jersey by myself routinely since I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a fan of NASCAR, but even when you watch NASCAR, that's the fastest, most dangerous, most I'm talking about split decisions in the sport. You know what I'm saying? That could cost you, that could be life or death. NASCAR. That's why I love about it. It's from some of the same components of boxing. They start off slow. And they gradually pick up speed as they kind of see who's where and what's what, who's doing what and where it is, and everybody get their places. Then it goes, and then they in it. That's how it's supposed to start. So Tank is more of a boxer than people think, and I saw that in the Ryan Garcia fight. That's what sold me. I was like, oh yeah, he really is that guy, because Ryan he took a gamble and tried to jump on Tank. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do to somebody who you think don't have no game, don't have no smarts about them. You jump on them, they just gonna panic, and then they start making mistakes, and then you find openings, and you know what I'm saying, you got fast hands like Ryan got and quick reactions, you can do something, finish the fight early. But if somebody who is a thinker, if somebody who is a boxer, you don't want to run in there without a clear game plan, run in there and just jump on them. You know what I mean? Because now you putting yourself at a disadvantage, because all you thinking about is attack, and boxers are most fighters, any fighter is most vulnerable when they're striking. So Tank is proven underneath the brightest lights that he can do it all pretty much. Good defense, counter punch. He's short, low center of gravity, but he generates a lot of force. He's small, but that's not necessarily a disadvantage. He's a smaller target. In boxing, you want to make yourself a smaller target anyway. It's just a rule of thumb. You know what I'm saying? You want to make yourself a smaller target anyway. So he's a smaller target, which is kind of an advantage, yet he hits like a heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? And he's a great boxer at this point. That's been proven. And he's done it under the brightest light. So I just don't think Frank Martin, you know what I'm saying, I don't think he's ready for this. I think honestly they should have waited. I think Frank Martin should be trying to take on dudes like Keyshawn Davis. And that's the other part of the experience level I haven't gotten to. He hasn't, and this is a big one, because a lot of people underestimate this one. He hasn't fought nobody nowhere near Tank's level. That's huge, man. We just seen evidence of how that goes when Demetrius Andrade fought David Benavidez. See how, and honestly, he got hurt because he made a mistake that he's probably made a million times against fighters on a lesser level and gotten away with it. But when you fight elite fighters, the same stuff that you do against lesser competition, you can't do. That's why a lot of people who are like think about like Adrian Broner was considered Floyd Mayweather with knockout power. His knockout ceased to exist after he started going up, not just in weight, in competition level. You know what I'm saying? When he started going up against, when the competition level started to go up, his knockout ceased to exist, even though he started his career off as a knockout dude. He didn't have brittle hands like Floyd. He didn't break his hands, none of that. It's just the same stuff you able to get away with at certain levels. You can't get away with that once you raise your level of competition. It's point blank, period. Those guys are at that elite level for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So when Andre, who's been a bad boy since the amateurs, you know what I mean, and since, because he's been cursed with a career that, I ain't gonna say cursed, but he never really fought nobody on the elite level his entire career. He had like 30-something fights. Never fought nobody on the elite level for whatever reason. Some say people was ducking him. Some say he did bad business. Whatever the case may be, he hadn't fought nobody on that level. He went from high C, low level B, high C, low B level competition straight to high A level competition. Benavidez is one of the best fighters in the world. Benavidez is definitely top two in the divisions. Him and Canelo, really. We need to see them two fight to figure out which one is better out of the two. I personally think Benavidez is the guy at the division, so I personally think he's number one over Canelo. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think Canelo wants to fight him. But the point is, that's the creme de la creme. So you went from high C, low B to high A. I've never seen nobody make that jump and be successful. I've never seen it, regardless of skill level. No, it's been a few people. It's been a few people. I can't say that. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't been many. So Frank Martin, going back to him, he's never fought nobody nowhere close. Win, lose, or draw, nowhere close to Gervonta Davis' level. And that makes a big difference, man. A big difference. So, I think Tank gonna smoke him. I think it's gonna look good for a minute. It's gonna look good for a minute, and then Frank is really gonna get hit by Tank. You know what I'm saying? Like, forget what happened in sparring. And sparring stories kind of irritate me because sparring really don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. And I hate now that boxing culture has embraced this telling sparring stories, at the podium. What happened in sparring? Like, what are we talking about? Like, why are we even asking that question? That doesn't mean anything. What happened in sparring doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it was years. If it just happened 2 months ago and it's some drama because of it or whatever. You know what I mean? Even in that, sparring doesn't mean anything. Your mindset is different. The gloves are bigger. You know what I'm saying? The purpose of sparring is to work on certain shit. So you may not be in there trying to really hurt them. You might just be trying to either work off some kinks, get the rust off, work yourself back in shape, work on certain techniques. You know what I mean? As a sparring partner to certain fighters, you're trying to mimic certain styles. The lights ain't bright, the stakes aren't high, the intentions aren't to do certain things. You don't want to try to hurt your sparring partners or kill them. You just don't want to do that. It's bad business. And then at the same time, as a sparring partner, you don't want to try to hurt the dude that you sparring with the people who paying you to be there. You know what I'm saying? That's bad business. Or let's just say two camps meet up and y'all just getting some work. That's what it is. It's just some work. It's not kill or be killed. It's not now I'm fighting for my life. Now I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting to put food on my table, whatever. It's not even the same mindset. So to keep talking about what happened in sparring is kind of retarded. So when he really get hit by Tank, like really, because he's going to get hit by Tank. It's going to happen. And when he really get hit by Tank, and you know, we know he don't like body shots. You know what I'm saying? But it don't matter. Body, head, don't matter. Whether he like them or not, doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is Tank is a legitimate hitter, bro. He really got Thor's lightning in them hands. He really do hit like the hammer of Thor. Like, he really do. Like, that's not a myth. There's certain fighters who are just gifted, and that's Tank's gift. He's gifted. He's a gifted puncher. Gifted. Frank is not gifted in anything that we've seen so far. He's a gifted young man all around, yes, but Tank is a gifted young man all around too, but he also got that lightning and that thunder in them hands. That's a gift. Everybody don't have that gift. You can't teach power. You got it or you don't. You can't teach it. You can enhance it. You can't teach speed. You got it or you don't. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Tank gonna smoke him. I think it's gonna be a good fight for as long as it lasts, though. I think Frank is gonna put up. But if Frank beats Tank or it goes to a decision, Frank's stock will rise like crazy. So it's kind of a good gamble. But if Tank put Frank to sleep, they could kind of be bad for him because, you know, it's like, oh, you jump levels and you got smoked and now you gotta go on back to the back of the line. That's fuel for other fighters. Now, yeah. So we'll see what happens. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Let's talk about it. All right, peace.